Welcome back to Sincerely Bee. I am your host, Blanca. Feliz lunes! Happy Monday, mis hermosas, mis hermosos, my beauties. I am so excited for this week's episode. I hope you guys all had a beautiful weekend, but it's Monday, so let's set those intentional goals for the week. So let me tell you guys a little bit about my intentional goals for last week. I failed at one of them, and that was putting my phone away before bed. I know that one was like my biggest one that I wanted to do. But I think because I gave myself two goals. So I gave myself technically two options, and I decided to go with the easier one. So this week I am going to roll over the one I failed at last week, and that is to put my phone away before bed. No sé por qué. I don't know porque se me hizo una costumbre to just be scrolling on my phone before bed. I don't know. I just started getting into the habit of it, and now I'm so used to it. So this week we're trying it all over again. Ya dije, I'm going to put my phone on the other side of the freaking room and put it away before bed. My bedtime is around 9:30, and I'm going to put it on the other side of the room and read the book, and that's it. And I'm going to go to sleep. You know, the thing that I didn't do. So I was reading the book. I read actually 4 chapters, but the thing is I didn't put my phone across the room. And so I had my phone on my nightstand, and what I did was I would pick up the book, and then I would read it, and then I would put it down and then pick up my phone. Ugh. I know, I give myself the ick. Ugh. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and give it a try again, and then a ver cómo nos va. So in honor of this week being Valentine's, what better way than to chat a little bit about love? Did that sound weird? I felt like that sounded weird. Anyways, we're going to talk about love. And if you haven't seen the title to this episode, que se llama Regalate Tus Flores, we're going to be chatting about Amor Propio, loving yourself, self-love, love thyself. Así que get ready. We're going to learn how we can gift ourselves our flowers that we deserve every single day. Ay, el amor propio. Self-love. It's hard. We are not always the best at being gentle with ourselves and giving ourselves the love that we deserve. But before we dive into the episode, I want to just throw out a quick disclaimer. The journey to self-love can look very, very different for each one of us because it's a very personal and intimate journey for ourselves. And self-love, honestly, it's really a construct of what your own needs are. So my self-love can look very different than yours. Honestly, we are all on the self-love journey and just learning how to love ourselves every single day. Loving myself wasn't always so easy, and it took me a very long time to get to a place where I could truly say that I love myself. I can be full of myself. And I'm just really confident within myself, and I'm just my main priority. And it didn't come easy. There was a lot of challenges. There was a lot of times that I didn't like myself. And there was a lot of times that I felt like I just wasn't enough, wasn't worthy. And I just really didn't like myself at a point. The love I had for myself was very hard when I was going through my acne journey. I battled with acne for so many years. Y a veces ni me podía ver en el espejo. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I want to say that it was in my early 20s when I battled through acne the worst. And it was literally the worst time because there was like other things going on too. And on top of that, of course, I had freaking like adult acne. And I was like, oh my goodness, there was just so many moments that I can remember and reflect on that I didn't even like taking pictures of myself. I would try and hide it with like so much like makeup, and I just felt really insecure about myself. Y lo peor era that like the people that I would literally hang around with had like perfect skin. I mean, not perfect, but like really good skin. And I was over here like with really bad like cystic acne, hormonal acne, like acne that like I couldn't even sleep on like a pillow, like on the side of a pillow porque me dolía. Like it hurt like being like laying on the side of a freaking pillow. And the worst thing was that it was like the most obvious thing that someone can look at. Like it was just everywhere. And it just took me the longest time to love myself in that time that I was going through. Ay, lo peor is that like when people call you out on your biggest insecurities, that's when it hits you the most. I remember this one time that I worked in Ulta, and I decided this day when I went to work that I wasn't going to wear makeup because my skin was like really red and inflamed, and I would put makeup on and like it just like made it look even worse. Like it just, my makeup was like super cakey and it was like cracking, and it just it was just not it. So like I just ended up not wearing makeup to work that day. And I was like stalking like an aisle or something. Y una señora comes and like asks me like where she can find this or whatever. And so like I direct her. I was like, oh, like lo puedes encontrar allá and whatnot. And then I remember her like making a comment of like, oh, like sabes que puedes usar blah 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 para tu carita and everything. And I was like, okay, gracias. Oh my goodness, the worst possible thing that she could tell me that day. Like I knew she didn't say it with like bad intentions. Like I'm sure that, you know, she just wants to help a girl out and totally get it, but I'm just like, oh my god, like that's embarrassing when someone kind of like comments on something that you're very insecure about. So me acuerdo that I went to the bathroom and I like started crying, and I like looked at myself in the mirror and I got so mad at myself. And oh my god, I think about it and like I low-key want to like tear up because it was like it was really sad actually. I looked at myself and I told myself like the ugliest things that I could remember. Like I was ugly, like you don't even deserve to show your face in public. I think back and I'm like, how do you tell yourself those things? Like that is so mean to yourself. And that brings you down even more than where you are. Oh my god, me sentí so bad. And like I just like went out and I just told my boss, I was like, hey, like I don't feel good, like I have to go home. And I ended up going home. Oh my goodness, like it was so sad. Like I would never wish that type of feeling towards someone, like ever. Y pues like obvio, like I did battle with my acne for a few years, and I would always try like different things. I would try like over the counter, I went to the dermatologist, I tried like a few prescriptions and everything, y como que nada. But that's like a whole different story. Pero like it took me a while to really just like learn that this is where I'm at right now, and you're not the ugliest person in the world. Like a lot of people are battling through acne, like no nomás eres tú, like it's okay, you're gonna survive this. And I just like think back and I'm just like, oh my god, girl, like I just want to give you a hug and like just let you know that it's gonna be okay. Pero it was just like a hard time in my life. And the reason why I bring that story up is because I want you to keep in mind, how do you talk to yourself? How do you talk to yourself when you're not feeling the best, when you're not feeling 100% confident, when your self-esteem is kind of low? How are you talking to yourself? What are you telling yourself? Is it something more positive that is giving you that opportunity to feel better, or are you belittling yourself and making yourself feel worse? Honestly, loving yourself comes from what you tell yourself. It's giving yourself those pep talks. It's giving yourself those affirmations. It's giving yourself gentle and kind words. Next time that you are feeling not the prettiest, you're not feeling yourself in your outfit, you're not feeling yourself in your makeup, whatever it is, girl, give yourself a pep talk, because the more you're like, ay, me veo fea, no me queda esto bien, no me veo bien, like the more you're gonna believe it, and then your mind is gonna be like, sis, you're ugly. And then you don't want to go out. You're like, I'm not going to go out anymore. And then you're just literally miserable at the end of the day. So one thing que sí aprendí is to always talk to yourself gentle. Give yourself those gentle and kind words. There are a few points that I want to talk about that I learned in my Amor Propio journey. And these are just things that I feel like would have honestly just helped me love myself a little bit more. So the 4 points I want to talk about is growing, learning, accepting, and respecting yourself. I want to chat a little bit about accepting yourself because it ties in a little bit on the story that I had talked about my acne journey and everything. And accepting yourself, really, it doesn't mean that you have to stop from becoming who you want to become or the goal that you have for yourself. For instance, my acne journey and what I went through with my acne, I accepted that I'm an acne prone girly and my skin is not always going to be perfect. It's not going to look flawless. I'm going to have texture. I'm going to have pores. I'm gonna, I just came to the acceptance that my skin will never look like picture perfect. But I didn't stop there. I accepted that my skin wasn't going to be perfect, but I also knew that I had a goal to clear my skin. And that's how I started getting really, really into nutrition and my diet and what I was consuming, the products that I was using. And that's how I turned into being a little more holistic of, the products that I use, the things that I eat, and really like medicine, like food is medicine. And I started really going into that journey. But I always knew that my skin wasn't going to be perfect. Accepting yourself is knowing that you're not going to be the thinnest out of the group, that you might not have that hourglass figure, that you're not going to be the skinniest, but that doesn't mean you're going to stop going to the gym. That doesn't mean that you're going to stop working on yourself because you have a goal for your own type of body. That doesn't mean that I was going to stop going out because my skin was breaking out and everybody else's was like perfect. That doesn't mean that I'm going to stop my own personal goals. That didn't mean that I was going to stop from learning what was truly causing my irritation and what was causing my breakouts. Accepting is a self-love, but working towards your goals, that is also another form of self-love. Loving yourself also looks like a form of learning about yourself. And I just want to say that these things that I'm mentioning are for everyone, whether you're single, whether you're in a relationship, married, you have a partner, whatever it is, these goals apply for you as an individual. And this sort of ties into learning about yourself. I think sometimes when we get into a relationship, we kind of lose what we were into. And you really, really have to work on this to continue your self-love. You want to find hobbies that you're into for yourself. And I'm not saying que no puedes hacer cosas with your partner and everything. There are things that you do with your partner that you both like, that you're both into, that you both can do something together. But you want to find things that you like to do on your own, because sometimes you need that space. Sometimes you need to go out and do your own thing. And I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to know, like, hey, like today is a me day and I need to go do this. Find your hobbies, find things that you like to do for yourself, find things that you haven't tried and you want to try for yourself. When you're in a relationship, that doesn't mean that you have to stop going out and doing things on your own. You don't always have to wait on your partner to go try those things. You don't always have to wait on them and ask them like, hey, do you want to come and try this? Yeah, sure, go ahead, ask them. But if it's something that you truly want to do for yourself, go and do it. Stop waiting on someone to go and do these things when you have like a motive to go and want to give it a try. Like, for example, I wanted to try Pilates and I was a little nervous to go and try it by myself. Honestly, I'm not going to go and ask Robert, like, hey, come and do Pilates. If he wants to come and do it with me, cool, amazing. Like, yes, let's go do it together once in a while. But that's my thing. Like, let me do it on my own because why? I'm learning about myself. I'm learning how to do things on my own. But I know that I still have him there with me when I come home and we can do something together. You don't have to do everything with your partner. For those that love to do things with their partner, I am not throwing any shade. You do you. If that works for you, amazing. I'm just saying there are things that sometimes you have to do as an individual to learn more about yourself. And why do we sometimes have to do things on our own? This brings emotional maturity. This teaches us that if I'm asking something from someone, I'm already able to give that to myself. Because what happens a lot of the times is we depend so much on another person bringing us that happiness, that joy, that excitement. But then what happens when they're not giving it to us? We become frustrated. We become disconnected. We become disappointed because they're not reassuring us of that happiness or that love because we're seeking that love from someone else. But I really started to learn this, that it's not my partner's job to give me that love that I'm seeking within. That love that I'm seeking is for myself. Yes, my partner can show me that romantic love and can give me those flowers and can take me out to dinner, do really romantic things. I love that. I appreciate that. But I also know that I could be giving it to myself. Porque lo que pasa es que estamos buscando this happiness from our partner. And honestly, it's not fair to ourselves and to our partner that we are, let's say, like waiting for at home and we're like waiting for them to like make us happy that day. But I feel like that's why it's so important to have something that you know you can bring happiness to yourself. Like when I know que, like maybe Robert's gonna be home really late and I need just something to like cheer me up. I like reading a good book. I like literally getting distracted and just like pouring like my whole afternoon into a book. Y ahí se desaparece like everything else. And then I feel so good. So when I know that my partner's coming home, like I'm not feeling like frustrated or angry because he was like coming home late. And when you learn about yourself and what you're into and what you like to do, and knowing that you are able to give yourself that love that you might be seeking, es porque tú ya sabes like how to give that to yourself. And that really ties into the other point, which is growing. And growing really is that you know your worth. You care for yourself. You celebrate yourself. You comfort yourself. You are giving yourself that hug that you need. I don't want you to get it confused that I'm not saying that you don't want this from your partner or that you shouldn't be getting it from your partner. Of course you should. Of course. That is a whole different conversation though about romantic love and relationship love. But this is more towards your self-love and how you can grow into giving yourself that love that you are really needing for yourself within, to just make yourself that person that you know that you are able to love yourself no matter what. Because you deserve that love. You deserve to be giving yourself that comfort every single day. Porque si alguien no te lo está dando, you're like, you know what? I can give it to you myself. And you grow into knowing your worth. And that is carving your way into learning how to pour into your own cup. Because if you don't know how to pour into your own cup, you're going to be seeking for others to be pouring into that cup. And once they stop pouring, you're going to be like, I don't know how to pour for myself. Like, what am I supposed to pour into that cup? And then there brings this like frustration of you're seeking from other people how to give yourself that love that you want for yourself. And then you expect these other people to be giving you those affirmations, giving you that love, giving you that comfort, and then you want them to celebrate you, and then you just expect all these things from these people because you don't know how to give it to yourself. Last point is respecting yourself. You need to set those boundaries that not everyone has access to you. That is a form of self-love. Not everyone is deserving of you. You get to choose who comes into your life, who leaves your life, who you're welcoming in, and who you want to kick out. This is your life. That is how you absorb love for yourself, because you're giving yourself that boundary que no todos te pueden tocar. Loving yourself is not easy. And it's not a journey that you can learn one day to another. It's things that we have to learn within ourselves. It's things internally that we have to work on in ourselves to know what we're really seeking for. Are we seeking validation from others? Or are we truly trying to seek validation from ourselves, but we just don't know how to give it to ourselves? Are we wanting to celebrate ourselves, but we don't know how, so we expect others to celebrate us? Do we want a comfort and we want it from everybody else because we don't know how to comfort ourselves? You need to start with yourself. You need to ask yourself, if I find someone or the person that I'm with, if they're not giving it to me, am I giving it to myself? And I want to end with this. I want to encourage you to write a love letter to yourself. Write a letter being kind to yourself, telling yourself how worthy you are, how deserving you are, how beautiful you are. Remind yourself that you love yourself, that you are your number one, that you are your main priority. Whether you have a family already, whether you're single, whether you have a partner or whatnot, you have to be your main priority. You always have to put yourself first. You have to take care of yourself. And if you can't come up with a love letter to yourself, I wrote one for us. And I want you to play back this episode whenever you are feeling a little discouraged about yourself or whenever you forget how to talk to yourself. Come back to this episode, read yourself that letter, bust it out whenever you need, when you're just not feeling worthy of yourself, when you feel like you are not being gentle to yourself. I'm going to say it in Spanish and then translate it in English. Ámate tanto que te pongas como prioridad, que te des cuenta de lo que mereces y de lo que vales. Ámate tanto que no te permitas que nada ni nadie te haga dudar de lo que mereces. Reconoce todo lo bueno que hay en ti. Date la oportunidad y trabaja todos los días por agradarte a ti misma y te sientas suficiente para ti. Regálate tus flores, hermosa. Los mereces todos los días. Love yourself so much that you give yourself priority. Be aware that you are deserving and worthy. Love yourself so much that you do not allow anything or anyone to bring doubt in what you know you deserve. Love yourself so much you recognize all beauty within you. Give yourself the opportunity to work towards bringing yourself joy and happiness every day. And know you are worthy of it all. Gift yourself those flowers. You deserve them, beautiful. Sincerely,